Busiest Saturday we have had in 52 weeks. We're going to unpack it. Why is this happening? And are there any other things we need to know about the property market into the next 52 weeks? Stay tuned.
I'm the ringleader, so listen up.
I think we should do that every morning. Good morning. Sounds like you're in an aeroplane this morning.
Yeah, I am.
Off to work, just a day in the office.
I'm in the Novak Land Jet.
Is it true you get a helicopter to work every morning?
Yeah, imagine that.
We got space for on level 3. Level 3, just fly straight in.
Yeah, they just land on the roof of the office.
Come down on a rope. Yeah, come down on a rope like special forces.
So Billy Bob and everyone out there, it was a really, really interesting weekend. We don't normally talk about the events like open houses, but it was astonishing. One, it was very hot.
Yeah.
Two, it was amazing. Two, the people, it was fantastic to see so many people turn up to so many houses back to back, where the 10 o'clock open, it was like, was that just a really good property or a really busy property? And then the 11 o'clock one was busy, the 12 o'clock one was busy, the 1 o'clock one was busy. They were all flat out. What is happening out there?
Yeah, it's true. We had on the sales side of things about 15, 20 opens. On the rental side, I think we probably had similar numbers, if not a little bit more. And we record our open home numbers every week, so we can keep a rough measure on, as you said, whether it's properties performing better than others, whether it's just general, open home numbers are up for the week, down for the week. It is a good measure. It's obviously doesn't translate directly into dollars, but it does help having more groups through, no doubt about it. And through our opens, combined, we had close to sort of 80, 90 people just on the sales side of things. So that's combined over the just buyers, which is big numbers.
And don't forget, often these groups are big. They're not just one person. So we probably had more like 200, 250 people, 300, actually more like 300 people through the opens. It was busy. It was busy. Now, I also noticed the attitude's different.
The attitude is definitely different. Luke's saying what's busy. Busy is sort of high single digits, low double digits. Extra busy is high double digits. Like sort of 20, 30. But we were seeing 1 and 2 groups through before, so that's just the comparison we're making here. But the attitude's definitely different as well. I mean, where do we start? First of all, Lisa made a good point off air. There's people coming through and kind of voluntarily putting through offers on properties again.
So it's, all I can think about is scarcity of stock has contributed to, often when you take something away from someone, they lunge forward. And I feel like the marketplace did that to buyers. They took off the table a bunch of properties, a bunch of houses and units, and then the buyers sort of lunged forward. I remember I used to work with a developer that when the market was quiet, he would put his prices up on the development side. And everyone would be going like, what? Up? And then actually we'd do deals. So I do find that's contributing a little bit, that lack of stock.
Yep, I agree. I think as people sort of look in, it's interesting actually, because as people forecast the next 6 months, people are still saying we think more stock's coming on, but on the other hand, they're saying we've seen the market correct now, and we're happy with where they see value. That's the most important thing. Buyer sentiment seems to be back in the marketplace. before it was constantly waiting. I think the buyer sentiment's back now, and people seeing the amount of activity out around the grounds is making other people go, yeah, I think, other people see it, we see it now. They follow the leader.
Another thing I find that the fear is leaving the marketplace, the shock and awe has left the marketplace, where I think a little people were told by our government to expect rate increases in 2024, a year and a half ago. And when they got kicked in the gut, they were like, I can't believe you just did that. So there was a bit of shock and awe in the market. Now, after all the rate increases, consecutive rate increases, people just went, okay, well, this is what it is now, and can we afford it? No. Or can we afford it? Yes. But that shock and awe is out of the market, so I think that's probably lunged people a bit forward.
Yeah, and looking forward to the next 52 weeks, do you think as we go into first quarter of coming towards the end of first quarter of 23, do you think going into 24 people are going to be feeling a bit of pressure to get in whilst rates are where they're at? Because once they come back down, surely it's going to be compelling for people to get back in if they're not already.
I do. I think people will. One thing people definitely will, to answer your question, but one thing that we are noticing is people are tidying up their backyards now. If they've got assets that are unnecessary, non-essential, or toys that are unnecessary and non-essential, they're culling them. And we're even finding with properties, like in terms of our landlords that have got assets there, for whatever reason, they're like, you know what, I'm just going to make life more comfortable, sell. So the landlords exiting the market is at a rapid pace compared to the landlords entering the market. So it's owner-occupiers that came through the opens this weekend. I do think you've got to be a pretty opposite the curve type of landlord. This is probably an all-time low, and technically, emotionally, it's counterintuitive to be buying investment property at the moment. So I think it's genius to be jumping in before those rentals skyrocket, and while those landlords are selling. While those landlords are selling, that's going to push rents up higher. We've spoken about that in a couple of series before, but it was definitely a busy weekend.
Yeah, I would love to. I know the rentals guys got pumped as well. I'd love to get their take on this. But you've seen it in the media. Rents are up, as Luke's saying. It was all round a busy Saturday. Sunday was busy as well, so I did a couple of Sunday opens. And what's interesting is we're very, very lucky. We've got properties across all different price points, and it seems to be the entry level stocks just as busy as this awesome opportunity we've got in Curl, knockdown rebuild opportunity, big views, and at the more higher end of the price points. Yep.
Now, you know what was the biggest question that you're asked on Saturday? So aside from property questions, does this have a garage, what aspect, whatever, were there any technical questions or common questions you kept getting asked from buyers?
Yeah, two, and one was really interesting. Who's had it harder, or who's worse off? The guys that are coming off fixed rates. So the buyers are saying there's still landlords that are going to go from 2% to 5.5%, 5%. Have they had it worse, or is it the people, or is it the owners that have undergone 10 consecutive rate rises? I thought that was a really interesting question.
Yeah, so it's the mortgage cliff. If there was two words, it's the mortgage cliff. People are looking at those people coming off fixed term rates. I think it's CBA, 68% of loans are coming off the next quarter. 68% of their fixed loans are moving to variable. And people are worried about that mortgage cliff. And it's a common answer, common question that we get asked, and the answer that our opinion in that market and based on data is that the interest rate payer in the last 18 months has endured more mortgage fatigue than what the fixed interest rate payer will pay when they come off interest rates. Two reasons. One, the variable payer in the last 18 months was given no warning. Two, they were like the rents went up straight away with no warning. Different to the fixed guys, they've had a lot of time to prepare for Armageddon. And then the amount of dollars out of their pocket, they've paid higher money the whole way along rather than getting the discount for 18 months like the fixed people, which are going to go to a regular rate. So what's interesting there is the dollars out of a variable person are a lot more than the dollars out of a fixed person when you look 24 months back on those payments of both parties. The variable people still copped it harder. Now, when we talked to CBA chief economist, they were saying mortgage stress, fatigue, and is it called delinquency, or what, when you don't pay your mortgage? They said they're sitting at regular rates. They're not seeing a lot more of people, basically going under. So they said if people haven't gone under on these last 18 months, 2 years on rates, they estimate that the people are better off on the fix when they come off, and it should be the same pattern. Long answer.
And that's what the data says. Lisa's put a good one in here. The buyers that think the market's still coming up should be worried. There's obviously a lot of people that are, they're reading almost half the facts. So they're seeing 60% of stock is coming off fixed term, but they don't read the other half that, mortgage payments are not, they're still being met. So that's, there's two ways you can read the numbers. Luke, love to hear from the rental team activity if overbid application.
Yeah, people are going on those rental properties. Tenants are just putting in. They're not being coerced to put in more, but they're just paying more to try to be favoured. But do you know what's really, really interesting? There's definitely sub-markets. I love RP Data, Core Logic, because they give a beautiful graph on how different markets are performing. Now, the Northern Beaches market in Sydney, for whatever reason, was the first to react positively coming out of COVID. The Northern Beaches, we started seeing huge numbers for open homes, sales prices, growth first. Interestingly enough, when the market started correcting and started going negative, we felt it first again. So we were like, man, we're being punished. And we were looking all around the state. And I remember I had a client for sale, this is probably about 18 months ago, in Wayne Street, Freshwater. She was buying in Bellingen, which is near Coffs. Bit right? And I had a conversation with her every week that, look, RP Data is showing a 5% correction in your suburb and in all surrounding suburbs. And she's going, Bellingen's going up. And then even when we were negative 10%, Bellingen was going up. My point is, guys and girls, there are sub-markets. So the overall direction may be one way or the other, but you won't particularly see what we're talking about in all parts of Sydney or New South Wales. Newcastle may be suffering less. In my opinion, it'll happen.
Yeah. And the second question, you were saying not fair?
Can't remember.
I can't remember. I was hoping that would prompt you.
I should have written it down.
Must have been a really good question.
Must have been. I think you wrapped it in. But all in all, great look. If we ramp out the next 52 weekends like this last weekend, it's positive. It's just a really good breath of fresh air into the market. Yeah,
this is a snapshot of our living room from the weekend.
Look at that.
conversations around.
That's nuts.
But yeah, as you said, if this is the new norm for the year ahead, bring it on. It's going to be I think a good time to be buying and selling.
And on a personal level, Billy, you're a man on fire.
Well, I don't know what you're referring to, but thank you, Mark. That does sound positive.
Wasn't
I have
Saturday
to
night
say,
girls at work. You've been good.
yes, yeah, very good. I have to say another interesting one is, and I was talking about this with Glenn on Saturday on our market wrap up. 2 properties in the last 14 days, both very, very different properties. They've got no similar features really. So you can't say it's just one end of the market's moving up. Both properties have been on market over 6 months, and they both sold in the last 14 days. You know why? Why is the question mark?
Yeah, Billy looks excited, Luke, because he's been doing heaps of deals. So I'll just put that comment up again just to support this. So yeah, you've been a man on fire. So been out, working hard, working the streets, letterbox drops, calls. What else have you been doing to do deals?
I got a new suit, and I can't tell it live, but I do have a secret. I've got some secret sauce. So if you're looking to improve yourself this summer, call me. I'll show you the secret sauce, but I can't put it on socials.
You can't say that.
Yeah, you can, because you got to have the little hook. There's got to be a little hook.
Can you give us a clue?
It's something everyone can do. It's very simple. It's just one change. This is my first day of testing this new secret sauce, but I've already seen in 24 hours how it's going to help me. And let's come back to this on Monday next week. And if it's really been successful, I might give you the full thing. But at this stage, we're still in trial. But it's pretty special. I'm not going to lie. All the blokes out there, yeah.
That's intriguing. Everyone have a great day. I hope it's going to be a bit cooler this week. It was a hot one last week. And enjoy real estate.
Thanks, guys. Cheers, Mark. Happy Monday. Ciao.